This is the National 5 Relationships Unit Assessment Practice. And what we're going to be looking at is Standard 1.1, and what we'll be doing is some questions that are similar to the questions at this unit assessment level. Questions 1, 2, 4 and 5 make up the Standard 1.1. It's worth 10 marks for the 4 questions. You need 5 marks to pass. So let's go ahead and do some of the questions. I'll do the first one and there'll be others there for you to freeze the video and try to do yourself. Right, let's go ahead and do question number 1. So write down the equation of the lines described below. So we've got a gradient of 2 in part A and it's passing through the point 2, 6. So the first thing that you're going to have to remember there is that the gradient is m, so I've got m is equal to 2. The points that we've got here, the 2 there are the x coordinates A, the y coordinates B. What we're going to have to do there is we're going to remember the general equation of a straight line, which is y minus b is equal to m and it's x minus a. Okay, from there what we're going to do is we're going to substitute the points that we have, or the values that we have, into the equation, and that should give us our solution. So starting with y minus, and I'll take the 6 for b, is equal to the gradient, which is 2, and it's x minus the 2 that's there. Okay, and that's question 1a complete. So what we're going to do there is we're just going to get 1 mark for getting this answer here. So that there is just out of 1 mark. Okay, freeze the video and try the next 3 questions. Right, I'll go ahead and do these now. Okay, so what we've got is a gradient of 4 passing through this point here. So my gradient equals 4, a value is minus 1, and the b value is 3. So substituting into the equation of straight line, and we've got y minus 3 is equal to m, which is 4, x minus, and that's minus 1. Okay, I'm just going to sort that wee bit out there. So I've got y minus 3 is equal to 4, x plus 1. From there that should be my mark. Right, this one here is a bit different. What we don't have here is the gradient, but I've got 2 points. So possibly this could be some sort of a question that you could be asked, although these ones here look a bit easier and more like the NAB or unit assessment level. Let's try this one here. So first of all, I need to have a gradient, so let's work that one out. So I should remember that the gradient is equal to y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. I'll take this as one of the points that I've got, so this is my point 2, so I've got 9 take away 1, 8 take away 4 on the bottom. That's going to give me 8 on the top, that'll give me 4 on the bottom, which gives me a gradient of 2. Then I can use either of the points in the equation of a straight line. Let's just take the first one. So I've got y minus b, which will go for this one here, which is 1. Gradient is equal to 2x minus 4. Okay, and I get my mark there, and probably a mark there if I was looking at that. So that's maybe a bit more difficult than the unit assessment. Let's try this one here. Gradient, remember, y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. Go for 4 minus 2 and minus 3 minus 2. That gives me a 2 on the top, and on the bottom there I've got minus 5. So that's minus 2/5 is my gradient. I'll substitute that into y minus b equals mx minus a. Y minus, let's go for this point here, I'll just take the 2 is equal to gradient, which was minus 2 over 5, x minus this 2 that's here. So that was my a and my b value. And I can choose either point to use there, and that would be that complete also. Okay, remember, just 1 mark for this question here. Let's move on to question 2. So question 2, we're going to be working through some inequations. So let's go ahead and I'll do the first one. I'll show the marking for that. Right, for this one here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather all the a's on the left hand side and all the numbers on the right. So I've got 6a here. I'm going to bring the 2a over to this side and it's going to change its sign, so that's going to be minus 2a. I'm going to keep the inequality sign in like that. I've got a 6 that's sitting there, bringing the minus 4 over, becomes a plus 4. Gather these together gives me 4a, inequality sign, and what we have here is 10. So a is greater than 10, and I'll go divide by 4. So a is greater than, I'll just simplify that down by dividing top and bottom by 2, so that gives me 5/2. Let's see the marking for this one here. So we'll get 1 mark for simplifying out the a values, 1 mark for simplifying out the numbers, and 1 final mark for making sure I get the correct answer that's there. Just be very, very careful with the signs. Keep the sign in place. Make sure you use the same sign as you started with, and just be careful you don't end up saying equals at the end. Okay, so this one here is out of 1, 2, 3. So this is going to be out of 3 marks. Right, just freeze the video, try the other questions. Here's the solutions. Right, so here I've got a bracket I'm going to multiply out, so I'm going to do that first of all. So that's going to be 9y, and that's going to be plus 12. I've got an inequality sign, 2y minus 4. Get the y's onto this side here, minus 2y. I've got minus 4 on this side already. Bring the 12 over, becomes minus 12. Gather them up. That's going to be minus 16 that's going to appear on that side there. So what I have here is y is less than or equal to minus 16 over 7. I'm just going to leave it like that because I can't simplify that down any further. Don't need to change it into a decimal either. Question at the bottom here. I'm going to grab all the c's onto this side. I'm going to put all the numbers onto the other side. So I've got 5c, bring that one over, minus, okay, greater than or equal to, and I've got 11 sitting there, bring that one over, minus 3. Gather them all up. That's going to give me 8 that's here, so c is greater than or equal to 8/4. That can be simplified, so let's just do that. It's going to give me 2. So c is greater than or equal to 2 for this one. For d here, I'm going to multiply the bracket out and then I'll do the work again. So I've got 6 minus 3x is less than minus 2x minus 2. So this minus 2 I'm going to bring over to the left hand side, over the sign, and that's going to change to a positive. So that's going to be minus 3x sitting there already, and that's going to be plus 2x is less than, and on this side here I've got minus 2 sitting there, and what I'll do is I'll bring that 6 over, that'll be minus 6 that'll appear there. I'm going to gather these up, so I've got minus x is less than, this value here would give me minus 8. Now I've got to be really careful with this one here, because if I've got a sign here, and what's going to happen is I'm going to divide by minus 1, because that's minus 1 that's sitting there, the sign flips the other direction. So what I've got is x is less than, so it's going to go in that direction, and it's now greater than, x is greater than minus 8 divided by minus 1. From there I can just see that x is greater than 8. 3 marks for this question, 1 mark for question number 1. Let's have a look at, we'll have a look at question 3, although it doesn't fit into this section, but all we're doing is we're looking at the wording of the question, and what we're going to do is we're going to write an equation to represent the wording. So at the grocer's, Chloe bought 2 apples and 3 bananas, and the fruit cost her £1.85. So let's just write something out there, just an equation. So what I'll do is I'll go for 2a, 3b equals, and we're going to go for 1.85, okay? Right, for that there, I'm just going to say that a is equal to apples, and b is equal to bananas. And for there, all I'm going to be looking for is getting the 1 mark, and the 1 mark here for this part here. Just good practice to put down a key of what a and b, or x and y, if that's what you choose, are going to be. So this is going to be 1 mark, and this here is going to be out of the standard, and it's going to be 2.1, the 2.1 standard, and we'll talk about that a bit later, so it's only 1 mark. So let's have a look at the next couple of questions. You can freeze the video and just go and do them yourself. Right, in the shop Kim bought 6 pencils, 3 sharpeners, and the cost was £3.60. So 6p plus 3s is equal to 360. Okay, there we go. I've got P is equal to pencils, and we've got S is equal to sharpeners. Okay, last one. Family went to the cinema and bought 3 adult and 1 student ticket at a cost of £35.75. So we've got 3A plus 1S is equal to 5.75. Or, if I wanted to write it out a bit neater, 3A plus S is equal to 35.75, where we've got A is equal to an adult ticket, and S is equal to a student ticket. Okay, just the 1 mark for this type of question here. Let's go on to question 4. Okay, and these are 3 mark questions here. Right, the first thing I'm going to look at is that there are simultaneous equations that I'm going to try and solve. So we usually call it a system of equations. We're going to do it algebraically. So what we'll do is we'll try and make some of the letters similar or equal to each other. So looking at this one here, if I multiply the top by 3, I can make that 3y, and I can eliminate these in some way. I'm going to call this equation number 1, this one here equation number 2. What I'll do first of all is I'm going to multiply equation 1, as I say, by 3. So 3 times 3x gives me 9x, 3 times y gives me plus 3y, and 3 times 16 gives me 48. That there is now equation number 3. And I'm just going to use equation number 2 and 3 now to try and solve these equations. Because the signs of the 3y are the same, I'm going to subtract. If the signs were different, what I'd do is I'd add. Okay, so let's do our subtraction. We're going to start with 3 and I'm going to take away 2. So I'll just do the instruction at the side here. Starting with 3, taking away equation number 2. So 9x take away 2x gives me 7x. 3y take away 3y, gone, nothing. And 48 take away 13 is equal to 35. So from there I can see that 35 divided by 7 is going to give me 5. So x is equal to 5. I'll substitute that I found, the x is equal to 5, and I'll put that into, I'll just put it into equation 1. So 3 times 5, so this is the equation I'm putting it into, and right into there, plus y is equal to 16. So that'll be 15 plus y equals 16, so y, if I take the 15 over to that side, is minus 15, and that gives me y is equal to 1. So the way that we get marked for this one here is for making sure I can scale up the equations. So making sure that whatever equations that I'm using are scaled so that I can add or subtract them. I'll get another mark for getting the x value and 1 more mark for getting the y value. So there's the 3 marks that I'm going to get for this question here. What you can do is freeze the video, try these questions here. Okay, looking at these here, normally what I would do is I would try to get rid of the y values. I'd times this by 5, times this one by 2. But there is an easier method, and I'm just going to go with that one this time round. That's equation 1, equation 2. If I multiply equation 2 by 3, I'll get these matching up, and I can eliminate them. Right, so equation 2 times 3 will give me, let's see, equation 2 times 3 gives me 3x plus 15y, and I've got minus 3 times 3 will give me minus 9. So that will be my equation number 3. From there what I'll do is I'll subtract. So I'll subtract 1 away from 3. Right, so let's start with 3 and I'll take away equation number 1. So 3x take away 3x, 0, so it disappears. 15y take away minus 2 will give me 17y. And minus 9 take away 25 will give me minus 34. So from there, if I divide that by 17, that should give me an answer of minus 2. I'll substitute what I found out. That would be y is equal to minus 2. And I'll just put that into, let's go for equation number 1 again, and just substitute it straight in here. So that's where I'm going to put it. So I've got 3x minus 2 times minus 2, which goes in there, equals 25. So 3x, and that's going to be plus 4 when I multiply that out. It's equal to 25 So 3x is equal to 25. Take the 4 over to that side, gives me minus 4. 3x equals 21. From there, 21 divided by 3 will give me 7. So that gives me my 3 marks there as well. Final question here in part 4. Right, what I've got here is I can see that I can't just multiply something up. I could multiply this one by 2, couldn't I, at the bottom, and that would give me a 6 there. So why don't I go and do that? So this one here will be equation number 1. This one here, equation number 2. So let's multiply equation number 2 by 2. So what that should give me is, that would give me 4x, equation 2, that would be minus 6y, and 2 times 10 will give me 20. So that then becomes equation number 3. So what I'll then use, I'll use equation 3 and 1. And I can see that the signs that are here are the same, so if they're the same, I'm going to subtract. So let's start with 3. Take 1 away from that. So 4x take away 3x leaves me with x. Minus 6y take away minus 6y, which is adding it. These disappear. I've then got 20 take away minus 6, so that's going to give me 26 there. So my x value is equal to 26. What I'll then do is I'll substitute x is equal to 26, and what I'll do is I'll just put that into equation number 2, just to be a wee bit different this time, okay? I'd usually normally just put it straight into number 1 and usually just do that as a force of habit, but let's go for that. So I've got 2 times 26 minus 3y is equal to 10. What I'll do is I'll work this part out here. That's going to give me 52 minus 3y equals 10. I'll take that 52 over to the other side, which becomes a minus 52, sorry. Minus 3y is going to be equal to, that's going to be minus 42. So y is going to be equal to the minus 42 divided by the minus 3 that's there. And for that, that should give me my final answer of a positive number, which will be 14. Okay, so 3 marks for this question here. We're now on to question 5, and this will be the last question, and this question here is on the change of subject of the formula. Right, let's go ahead and do this one. So I've got 3 questions here. I'll do the first one, you can try the others. First thing we're going to do is, I can see that this minus 4 is sitting out on the side here, so I'm going to bring that over to that side and change it to a positive. Okay, so I've got d plus 4 is equal to 6b all over 5. Remember, we've got to change the formula to b. What I'll then do is I'll multiply this side here by 5. So what I've got here is 5 times d plus 4, and then what I've got left on this side is the 6b. If I'm dividing on that side, if I take it over to the other side, I'll do the opposite, which is multiplying. I'm multiplying by 6 on this side, so what I'll do is if I take it over the equals, what I'll do is I'll divide by the 6. So what I've got there is b is equal to 5d plus 4, all divided by 6. And really just to tidy it up, I'll just say that b is equal to d plus 4 all over 6. And for there, I should be getting 3 marks. First mark I'm going to get is for realising that first thing I have to move is the 4 from there to get b kind of partially on its own. The next part will be the multiplying the d plus 4 by 5, and then finally getting the answer for b when I've got b on its own. And b equals 5 bracket d plus 4 all divided by 6. Okay, try the other questions and see how you get on. That was worth 3 marks. You could multiply that bracket out. You know, if you go from there, that would be 5d plus 20. That would be okay as well, and showing that in your final answer. That would not be a problem. Right, so on this question here, I'm going to move the 6 first of all. So that's going to be e minus 6 is equal to 7b over 3. I'm dividing by 3 there, and I'm trying to get b on its own. So let's take that over to that side and multiply. I'm multiplying by 7b, 7 on that side, so that's 7b, divide by the 7 on this side, and that should be b on its own. So I've got 3e minus 6 all over 7. So final answer, just written round this form here, gives me that there. That's 3 marks. Last part, let's go for this. So just letters here, so I'll move the minus c over to that side, becomes a plus c. F plus c is equal to AB all over W. I'm dividing by W, so on that side there, I'm just going to multiply it. I'm multiplying here A times B, and I want B on its own, so what I'll do is I'll divide by the A. And that's it sorted. Just write it round to be a wee bit neater. All over A. So 3 marks for that one there. So as I said at the start, what you've got is you've got 10 marks. Remember, it's questions 1, 2, 4 and 5. Make up 10 marks. You need 5 to pass. Good luck. And try and get the 10. Try and get the full 10 for these ones.